The name of this young man is Franz Ferdinand. The photo that you can see on your screen was presumably taken in 1893, the year Franz turned 30 years old. He's the nephew of the Emperor of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, Franz Joseph I, a part of the imperial family, with all the charms of life available to him. Perhaps he would have spent his entire life being wealthy and carefree if the only son of the emperor had not committed suicide in 1889. That year, Franz became an heir to the throne and the Archduke of Austria. Franz, or Francis as he is often called, was not destined to become an emperor. 25 years later, he would be assassinated. And this event would eventually trigger an unprecedented conflict in human history, known as World War I. Franz Ferdinand began his military career at a young age. At 14 he became a lieutenant, and at 31 he first received the rank of Major General. His political views developed throughout his entire life. Initially, he planned to transform the highly diversified empire from a model of dual kingdoms to a trialism model, where not only Austrians and Hungarians would be considered the ruling parties, but Slavs would also be included. Later, his political views evolved and he planned to focus on solidifying the central emperor's power. In military affairs, he recognized the Austro-Hungarian military potential remained weak, so he advocated for a peaceful foreign policy with the Russian Empire and strengthening ties with the German Empire. He also believed the empire should refrain from further expansion in the Balkans. In 1894, presumably at a ball in Prague, he met Sophie, a Bohemian aristocrat. The Archduke soon fell in love with her. However, there was a minor issue related to her descent. Although she belonged to a noble family, she wasn't a part of the Habsburg imperial house, and the Viennese court could not agree with the choice of Franz Ferdinand. Even the emperor himself, Franz Joseph I, declared that if Franz Ferdinand married her, their children would not be able to succeed to the throne. But being deeply in love, the Archduke accepts the terms and marries Sophie in 1900. Sophie received the title of Duchess, but her royal privileges were severely limited. She couldn't even sit with her husband at court during dining. However, during state visits and trips across the empire, she was treated as a full member of the imperial family. Such internal trips were not rare for the Archduke. In 1930, he became the Inspector General of the Army and took active participation in all the military affairs of the empire. And once upon a time, he decided to embark on the next significant trip, the one to Bosnia and Herzegovina. The Archduke's trip was related to his duties as Inspector General of the Army, but frankly speaking, Bosnia wasn't the safest place to visit at that time. Bosnia and Herzegovina had been part of the Ottoman Empire since the mid-15th century, but everything changed after the Congress of Berlin, when Austria-Hungary was awarded the administration of the province along with the Turkish government. The revolution in the Ottoman Empire in 1908 inspired the Austrians to fully occupy the region. Bosnia and Herzegovina then became the part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and this is where the root of the problems lies. Bosnia-Herzegovina was a province with a mixed Serb, Croat, and Bosnian Muslim population. This annexation edged Serbia, an aggressive Balkan state with ambitions to unite the region's Slavic population under its rule. War could have erupted in 1908 during the so-called Bosnian crisis. However, diplomatic efforts managed to avoid it. But relations between the two countries were at their lowest point. The Austrians viewed Serbia as a nation of troublemakers whose actions might destabilize the situation in their fragile empire. Meanwhile, the Serbians considered Austria to be a potential threat to their existence. These tensions fueled the growth of so-called pan-Slavic nationalist groups, which were operating in the southern Europe and whose main aims was, first of all, to protect the rights of the Slavic people and try to drive Austro-Hungary out of the Balkans. Among these groups, there were two that posed a direct threat to the Archduke's trip: Young Bosnia and Black Hand. And when the arrival of Franz Ferdinand was announced, a group of assassins was formed. Among them was a 19-year-old Bosnian Serb, Gavrilo Princip. But let's return to the trip itself. Franz Ferdinand and his spouse are already in Bosnia and Herzegovina. The heir to the throne attends maneuvers of army corps, and the Duchess Sophie visited churches, convents, and orphanages. Despite multiple warnings, including those from the Serbian government, the Archduke of Austria intends to visit the recently annexed province. The trip to Sarajevo is scheduled for June 28th. 9:50. The couple arrives in Sarajevo by train, accompanied by the governor of Bosnia and Herzegovina, Oskar Pociorek. Following their arrival, the Archduke conducts a review of local troops, and Sophie is permitted to walk alongside her husband during the ceremony. 10 o'clock. The archducal couple gets into an open car in the imperial motorcade. The motorcade heads to Sarajevo City Hall. 10:06. The motorcade travels along the Apple Quay. The crowds welcome the Archduke, with some people shouting "Živio!" Long live the heir. 10:10. An explosion occurs. A member of the terrorist group Nedeljko Kabrinović hurls a bomb at the imperial motorcade. The bomb bounces off the back of the vehicle, injuring some in the crowd. Kabrinović is captured by the police. Franz Ferdinand is not injured. The motorcade continues the tour as planned. 10:45. After the Archduke's meeting at the city hall, the motorcade heads to the museum. Suddenly, the Archduke decides to change the plan. He wants to visit the people wounded in the bomb attack. 11 o'clock. The driver of the car in which the imperial couple sits turns the wrong way as per the initial plan. General Pociorek orders the driver to reverse and continue along the Apple Quay. The driver puts on the brakes and begins to back up. Franz Ferdinand's car stops 5 feet away from Gavrilo Princip, who is unaware of the change of route. Princip quickly recognizes what has happened. He pulls the pistol from his pocket and shoots Franz Ferdinand with his first bullet. The second bullet hits the Archduke's wife. "Sophie, Sophie, don't die. Stay alive for our children," Ferdinand murmurs. Within minutes, both die. Princip is captured by police. Later, he would say that he didn't intend to kill the wife of the Archduke. The bullet was intended for the governor Pociorek. Princip couldn't be sentenced to the death penalty due to his young age. Instead, he was given a 20-year sentence. The incident was a massive loss for the empire. Although the Serbian government wasn't directly involved in the affair, the Black Hand, which equipped the terrorist group, was quite tightly associated with Serbian military intelligence. The Austrian authorities had been looking for a pretext for war for a long time, and they thought that this would be the perfect match.